Lion fans, holla if you hear me.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Dennis Roland Show, brought to you by the friendly people over at North Oaks Health System, located here in Hammond just off of Veterans Boulevard. I'm Marv Verbois alongside Lions head coach, Coach Dennis Roland. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mark.
This week we're going to take a look at our big win over Alcorn State, as well as first and second half highlights. We're going to look at the scouting report looking forward to Northern Colorado University, as well as our big play of the week. We're going to take a look at our player profile with defensive end. Rudy Johnson had a big defensive game this week. First and foremost, Coach, of course, Hurricane Katrina came through a couple weeks ago, ravaged the area, affected our university, people in the area, the team. How's the team been holding up?
I think our team showed a lot of character on Saturday afternoon. We missed a whole week of practice. Everybody was pretty down and out about what had gone on in the area. Over 15 kids that lost their homes, and everybody affected by it. And for us to be able to come together and pull off what we did on Saturday in 1 week showed a lot of character. And I'm just really proud of these guys. And we wanted to do it, and we wanted to give Hammond and the local area something to be proud of. And just glad we could get a W and do that.
Well, of course, the Jacksonville game was postponed, but 48-21, big win over Alcorn State. You got the first game out the way, the first win. How's it feel? How's the team looking? How's that feel to get that win out the way?
Well, it's always good to get a W first game. We certainly got a lot of things we need to improve on. I think the week of practice hurt us probably a little more than I thought it would. As it turned out, at conditioning end, I thought we held up pretty well, and I was proud of that. But it's always a lot easier to correct your mistakes when you win. And we can come back now to the practice and the drawing board, and as we get ready for our second game against Northern Colorado, hopefully we can learn from the good things we did and learn from the mistakes. But again, the effort that the guys played, they played really hard. They listened to us. They played 60 minutes of football. Can't say enough good things about our defense. Our offensive line went the distance. Trey Willie, running backs did a good job. It was a total team victory, our kicking game. And it's something we can build on. And again, getting that victory in the first game. So and it was good to get that monkey off our back. We'd lost 2 in a row to Alcorn, so that was good for us as well.
Well, you just kind of mentioned it. In the past, the Lions have been known as an offensive, high-powered offensive team, and this team this year really come out and showed itself defensively the first game. How's the team been looking defensively?
Well, I asked our defensive team Saturday afternoon before the game to, since I got here in January, I wanted them to get out of the back seat. There were times when I was here the first year that I felt like they'd take a back seat to our offense, the air raid. And so from day one this spring, we started talking about thunder and lightning. Usually you don't get one without the other. And our defense, being the thunder, supplied a thunder and a lightning. Offense would strike quick if we could. And so I asked him Saturday afternoon that our game plan, I wanted to give Trey a chance to get his feet on the ground. I didn't want to put the pressure on him, first game starting as a quarterback. And I thought our defense just came up big. All the turnovers, Rudy, all those guys on defense just did a great job. And Coach Lucas and the defensive staff had a great game plan. And I mean, I can't say enough good things about our defense. And not only did I think they got out of the back seat, I think they took the steering wheel on Saturday.
Really think so. Offensively, though, we had big game from Trey Willie, new starting quarterback you'd mentioned, as well as big game from running back Mario Gilbert. Offensively, what did you think on that side of the ball?
I thought we were able to get a little balance. That was something we were seeking to do. Alcorn was trying to blitz a lot of people and force us to throw shallow stuff, which we did pretty successfully. Josh Taylor had a really good day. Felton had some nice catches, Hutch. And then, like you said, our running backs, we were able to run the ball. I thought our offensive line did a good job opening up some holes, and we got some creases on them and took advantage of what they were giving us. It's definitely achieved a little bit more balance maybe than has been seen here in the past. But again, we're going to throw the football, and we're going to take advantage of what people do give us.
Well, I did notice also that with the offense on both the quarterbacks and especially the running backs, that they had a lot of yards after the hits. Is that something you've been working on and something you've been pushing for?
Well, I think, I know Coach Williams, our running back coach, has been telling our running backs that if they get into the secondary, we weren't going to let any defensive back take us down or any free safety take us down. And there were a couple of times, and even Trey shook off a tackle that I'd really rather him run on out of bounds at that point. But we'll coach him up on that a little bit.
Well, let's take a look at those first half highlights. They're going to be brought to you by the Caboose with locations here in Hammond as well as in Independence.
Well, we came out of the tunnel, I was really excited about. I knew our guys were ready to play. They had a good day of preparation, and we had the moment of silence and reflection with Alcorn's team, and I really appreciate Coach Thomas doing that with us. I thought we were trying to do something to honor our community. We come out real good. We put our defense on the field first, and they rewarded me by stopping Alcorn. Just really good pursuing to the ball right there, and got a lot of people at the point of attack. David Daniels, Now we get the ball, and Trey's going to take a snap. We're trying to hit Hutch in the flat, and their defensive end blitzes and does a good job. But we come back, and Mario gets about a 9-yard gain on a run, which is a real good start for us. And we hit Josh for a big first down here. I think that was third and real long, and he gets us a big first down and helps us move the sticks. And what was important about this drive is that we've got a little hand sweep here, and Mario does a nice job. And what was important about this drive was it was after they scored. We answered their touchdown with a touchdown. And here's Gerald Watson on another sweep to the outside, and he does a really nice job getting us about 5 yards as well. Good blocking by Don Lusry. And Tara, I thought our offensive line did a real good job. This is Trey scrambling, and he gets us some good positive yardage as well. And we're going to follow that up with a nice pass. I believe that's Hutch for a touchdown. And tell you what, it was a really good throw and a good pass. We had great pass protection on that as well. A lot of excitement. Again, what was good about that drive was we were answering their drive, so it gave us a lot of confidence. Back on offense, and here's Trey, and I believe he's hitting Robbie Skates there for a big catch over the middle. Good protection. We still got Donald Lusry, and Donald went out with an ankle injury later in the ball game, but we still got him in there at this point. And little tip pass there, and they get it was really unfortunate, but they get a tip pass there on fourth down and get the ball. But our defense comes back strong. You see a lot of people in there at the point of attack. Steve Smith, who had a good game, and Marquise Rogers, some of these younger guys. Good tackle right here. A lot of excitement. Pinky Hardeman. And then here goes Gerald, getting us a good gain there. Johnny Flowers blocking for him, and Calvin Greenwood. Here's Trey hitting Felton. And this was another big third down conversion to get us a first down and move the sticks down the field. And here's Trey scrambling out of the pocket, and I think he gets about 5 yards on that carry, and you're going to give up a sack here. They brought a lot more people than we could block, and they did a good job covering it, so we just ended up doing it. But here he is pulling out the pocket and, again, getting some positive yardage. And that's what he does for us. He can do those things, so he really is going to cause problems for defensive coaches because you can't account for that, or you don't want to account for it, I guess I should say. Now here's Mario on another one of his big runs, and all day running, spinning, and helping our offense move the sticks. He has some good protection. Our line did a good job opening up some holes, and I thought that was one of the bright spots of our offensive day. And here's Gerald Watson coming in, finding that crease and get excited. I like to see players get excited, get in the end zone, celebrate together, and I'm really proud of that.
Great job by the O-line.
Just huge. So he tries to throw the ball away. That probably should have been a grounding penalty because I think we had him in the grass there, but they didn't call it. And here's another good job here by our corner and linebacker. I believe that's David Daniels coming in there to help out and finish him off. And real good tackle here. I tell you what, that's Jay Fendelson making a big tackle right there. We get a tip ball, and I believe great interception here, and we're going to get a pretty good return. I think it's a Duke. I told our defensive coaches back in the spring that Duke's a really good running back. I've seen him do this stuff before, and he gets the ball in his hand. He's pretty elusive, so it's a great pick for him off the tip ball. Great defense right here, but he breaks it outside on us, so we got to do a little better job containing, but great pressure on the quarterback. Again, great pressure. Couldn't tell who that was that tipped it, but I think that's Rudy comes up with it there, and just a big turnover for us right here. Anytime you get the ball inside the 50 and right there around the 44-yard line, that's huge for you. And here's Trey throwing it out here in a great catch. I believe it's Josh, and he's going to move it down inside the 15 for us. They had some problems with their center quarterback exchange. Again, those things are sometimes inherent to first games, and our defense came up with one turnover off of that. Here we go with a great stuff by our defense. I see David Daniels and Craig Luke, some other players in there. Jay Skidmore around the ball. Thought we did a good job on defense, getting a lot of people at the point of attack, trying to strip the football, trying to force the turnovers. I like to see Jay pointing toward the end zone there. And, of course, we're going to take a 14-7 lead in at halftime, and I'm happy about that, but I felt like we should have put at least one more on the board in that first half.
Well, Coach, that's the first half highlights brought to you by the Caboose with locations here in Hammond as well as in Independence. Going to halftime, 14-7. score. What did you say to the team going to the locker room?
I thought we should have had some more points on the board. We kind of stalled out when we got down there close one time and had a turnover that, it looked like maybe it shouldn't have been a turnover on the ground. Supposedly that doesn't cause a fumble, but either way, I thought that we had to turn up it another notch and ratchet it up. And we had talked to them in the beginning before the game about playing 60 minutes of football. So we challenged them to come out of the locker room and just play really hard for 30 more minutes. And I felt like that. I felt good going in, but 14-7, that's a good team out there, and they're playing really hard. I tell you what, I think the key to the first half was when they went down the field on us and scored, we answered it with a touchdown, and I think that's always big to do that.
Well, let's take a look at those second half highlights. They're going to be brought to you by the Hammond Nursing Home, located here in Hammond at 501 Old Covington Highway.
Come right back, second half, and here's probably the play of the game, as we said earlier. Trey Willie just 61-yard scramble, good people downfield helping block for him, and I tell you what, I think that maybe set the tempo for the day because we elected to defer to the second half, and we came out and Trey scrambles and does that, gets us moving, gets us some momentum, and we eventually put it in the end zone. He's going to throw it out to Hutch over there, and I think we came up with the first down. If it wasn't, it was close. Good protection by our line, and another real good catch by Hutch right there for the touchdown. I believe that's for the touchdown there. Ken, I think Trey had a good game, first game in as the starter, and of course the win always helps. So we had a great crowd on Saturday. I really appreciate Hammond and the community coming out, and it was just a great atmosphere, and a lot of what we've been through. It was good to have that. Here's our defense coming up big, just a big tackle. A lot of people swarming to the point of attack and excited, and a lot of people around the football. I tell you, they have some really good athletes, as you can see here. You can see Rudy and some of the guys putting the pads on them. And here they just try to throw one deep, and we had great coverage by our cornerbacks. I tell you, Mayo and Hall and Pittman and Johnson, those guys did a real good job at corner, covering their two receivers that they think are all-conference players, maybe All-American candidates. And I tell you, Jamal Jackson just did a phenomenal job running punch back all day. And I tell you what, he was exciting to look at. And later in the game, I told him, I said, game's in control now. Let's make sure we don't turn it over. But just, he does a good job. And here's some more good running by our backs. Look at that. I believe that's Mario still in there breaking a tackle. Mario ended up getting a cramp later in the game, but it was because he sure carried a load for us. And here he is again. They called us for holding there, and it was a good call. I thought the officiating, they did a good job, and that was definitely a hold. And we ended up getting a field goal, and we got some work on our field goal team, which is probably pretty good in a situation like that early in the season to get a chance to work on your field goal team. And we ended up letting them block one on us later, which I was upset about, but it gives us a chance to see what our bugs are and get them worked out. So something we just got to keep working on. Great play here. I believe this is David, and I really thought David might go to the house on this one. He was dodging and trying to find his way to the end zone, but he got us another good field position here, and here it is again. And they were trying to get out front and block for him there. I appreciate that. Great effort by our defense. We started on their end of the field most of the second half, and that was a great place to start. And now Trey comes in, and a little pressure on him, and he ends up scrambling out of the pocket here and getting a little positive yardage. Good protection. And, I talked about our offensive line. We were for most of the game, without three of our starters, Charles Hall, Donald Lussery and Earl Cager, and the Tedder kid. So three of our top 8 offensive linemen out. I thought our offensive line came through. Jim Hall puts it through. Seth Babbitt does a good job of holding. Elon Putt snapping for him there, and that's an important part of the ball game. So everybody seems to be excited. Here they come back on offense, and again, our defense just continues to confuse them and put pressure on the quarterback, and he completes it for negative yardage there, and you can see a lot of people on defense getting real excited. Now we're going to put pressure on him with our punt team, and we just force him to, he tries to punt it and ends up being punt for negative yardage. I think we'll get the ball around the 16 or 17-yard line there again. It's great to start on that end of the field, and we hit a completion across the middle there, and puts us down inside the 5. Okay, and I believe that's Gerald going in. Really excited about his effort. He's He's going to be a great player for us. And him and Mario really play off each other. They, I think you can. Mario had a big game Saturday. Not saying he won't have another one next week, but it's good to have two big, strong backs that can run the football. We continue to put a lot of people around the point of attack and make tackles. And here you see Derek, I believe that's Jay Skidmore, and we get the turnover here. I guess that's Rudy coming back almost to the 1 yard line. And they call us for something. I know they called them for a face mask. So we get the ball on the 1 yard line, and our freshman, Sam Savoy, puts it in. I told him, I said, son, that's going to be the easiest touchdown you're going to ever score. And but it's good for a freshman to get a chance to get his feet wet, especially in this kind of a ball game, because don't know down the road we might not need him as he's our third. He's working with our second team really right now, doing a real good job. And here we get another pick. Just a great effort here. And again, I thought this one might go back, and this is Put Herron. And boy, that's a success story there. There's a young man who's really worked and battled back to get himself eligible and be a part of this team. And I was so happy for him and happy that he got a chance to do that. I was not happy about this. They end up somehow coming out of there and taking this back 85 yards. And it's unfortunate for our defense because our defense played so well. And, people see the score and they think our defense gave up 3 touchdowns when in reality we only really gave up 1 with our first team defense. And they got 1 late down there on some substitutes. But here's Trey. We do a little hitch and go, and Felton comes up with a big catch. I don't know, about 50 yards. They get a little pass interference call on us there, on them, I mean. But it was a great play here. Now we're going to hit Jamal on just a great catch there by Jamal. Great throw by Trey, and good way to finish that one off. Again, answering their touchdown with another touchdown. Back up nose guard, doing a good job. And there's Craig Luke out there in perfect position. They try a little razzle-dazzle here, and a corner gets out of position, doesn't do a good job wrapping up on that. We got to work on that. That's a big old running back who had over 100 yards on us, but we contained him for the most part during the day. And here's Sam Savoy, the freshman from Georgia, and he just tries to get one. He got to know when the journey's over. He breaks one for about 25 and gets the ball stripped, and he's got to know when the journey's over. We'll work on that, but it's good for a freshman to learn those lessons in a game where we're ahead and it's a costly mistake. Boy, it's a big hit right there. Just great hit. And we had a lot of big hits on Saturday, but tell you what, I'm just proud of where our defense continued to come up.
All right, and that's the second half highlights brought to you by the Hammond Nursing Home, located at 501 Old Covington Highway, located right here in Hammond. Coach, big play of the week this week, Trey Willie's 61-yard run. Tell us about the play a little bit.
Well, I think that was, it got us going. We came out of the locker room and we got the ball first. We had deferred in the beginning of the game, and I like to do that. I kind of tend to enjoy doing that better. If you get a chance to have the ball first drive, second half, you make those adjustments, and sometimes you can take advantage of that. But Trey got a little pressure, and he pulled the ball down and took off for a run, and who would know that it was going to be 61 yards. He showed why we're happy he's back there at quarterback. He's got the ability to throw and run, and it was a great run, and I think it set the tempo for the second half. It gave us a shot in the arm, and we moved it on down and scored a touchdown. Gave us a 2-touchdown lead, and I think it was no question it was a big play for us.
Well, let's take a look at that big play of the week. It's going to be brought to you by State Representative Henry Tank Powell. Let's take a look.
On the big play of the week here, it really, they were really taking a lot of chances and gambling here. You can see we're just really in a basic formation set, and Trey feels the pressure and sidesteps the blitz. In most of our formations, he's responsible if we're blocking with 5 and they bring 6, he's got to be responsible for the 6 man they bring. He does a good job of eluding the rush and scrambles out and just shows the great speed that he's got. We're real proud of it.
That was Trey Willie's 61-yard run for this week's Big Play of the Week, brought to you by State Representative Henry Tank Powell. Now this week for the Student Athlete Profile is going to be brought to you by Subway Sandwiches right here in our Student Union Mall. This week's profile, we're going to look at defensive end Rudy Johnson. Coach, 40 yards, a sack, 2 tackles, and an interception. Anything he can't do?
Well, I tell you what, we're really happy to have Rudy at defensive end. He's really embraced that position. I think when Coach Lucas first talked to him about it early on, he probably had some questions in his mind, but I think now he feels like he's found a home. He can do so many things for us. He's such a great athlete. He likes to play the game, and I look forward to him having a great year this year. I know Southeastern missed him last year, but fortunately for us, we got him back for this year and another year as well.
Well, that's Rudy Johnson we're going to be looking at. Shoney Francis sat down and spoke with him, and that's going to be our Student Athlete Profile of the Week, brought to you by Subway Sandwiches, right here in our Student Union Mall. Subway, eat fresh.
After 2 years, Rudy, we finally get a win against Alcorn. The first year, y'all went down to Alcorn and you lost. Then the second year, which you wasn't playing due because academic suspension. Tell me, how does it feel to finally get a win at home against Alcorn?
Man, it feels incredible, man, because of all the stuff I done been through, really. And then the coaches, when they came in, you know, I thought it was gonna be like more laid back, but they came in, got us focused, and now we just ready to play ball. And Alcorn, they played a good game, but I think we played a better game tonight.
How does it feel coming to the game, watching your teammates out there play without you, and then coming back and being named the player of the week the first game at home? How does it feel?
Oh, man, it feels good. Like, actually, last year, I wanted to come to the game, but I watched them on TV. I ain't come to the game. I just didn't. In my head, I was like, I watched every game, but tonight, man, it feels so, man, I ain't never felt like that. I feel like a little kid at a candy store. I ain't never felt like this in my life. When I come out there on the field, man.
Why don't you tell me the hardships that you went through last year with being on academic suspension, and just like how harder you had to work than maybe somebody else who wasn't on academic suspension, but they were still playing.
Yeah, well, academic suspension hurt my heart, man, because like I had to practice and couldn't play, you know what I mean? So, like, it ain't hurt. Like, the work wasn't hard. Like, I just started going to class, really. I ain't, like, when I first year out here, I wasn't going to class as much. But now I go to class, study hall, and all that stuff help. And when you do all that and then you go to class, the teachers always know the people that come to class. You talk to her, and you know what I'm saying? You always get respect to be first class. So I just learned that, and I just went from there.
I hear Coach Roland talking about first class. Explain a little bit to me about being first class, being a first class student, and being a first class player all at once.
Well, like me, like first class, and I have a lot of character, you know what I'm saying? So I respect everybody. If you respect everybody, you know what I'm saying? First class will always be there. Honesty and everything, like my mom, she taught me up a good well, so everybody just, you know what I'm saying? Coach Roland put it through our head the first day he got here, that's the first thing he talked about. And when he talked about that, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got it in their head, and once they got it in their head, that was it.
So you had 2 tackles, 1 sack, a loss for 8 yards, a 1 fumble recovery for 40 yards, and an interception. So that's a superb game. I mean, why don't you just tell us about that?
Well, like Coach teach us to swarm to the ball, so like the ball didn't come to my side, but they cut it all the way back. And Charles Hall made a good tackle, put his helmet on the ball. And when he put his helmet on the ball, I think it was Charles Hall, Skidmore one, put his helmet on the ball, and I saw the ball down. I didn't actually know it was a fumble. I thought the man was down. I just picked it up and started running. And I saw people coming out, and the referee started running, so I ran full speed until at the 10-yard line, then something got on my back, and I couldn't go no further.
And so why don't you tell me a little bit about the interception that you got?
Like, I was supposed to rush, but I read the screen. They were throwing the screen. And like, when I stayed the tackle, he tried to come out, and I saw the running back, and KD hit him, number 38. He hit him. When he hit him, I saw the ball up. All I could think about is get it in my hand. I wanted it so bad, and I got it. I wanted to run with it, but somebody tripped me up. So.
All right, so why don't you tell me a little bit about the defense, how it's different from Coach Woody's defense?
Every day we do a swarm drill, we do tackling drill, script circuit, we do everything. So basically, you know what I'm saying, we get graded on swarming. So if you don't swarm to the ball, you go run after practice the next day. So we actually run to the ball, and when you run to the ball, something good happened, like I was doing. I ran to the ball, something good happened.
Thank you, Shoney. Coach, this week the Lions are going to travel to Greeley, Colorado to visit the Bears of Northern Colorado University. Is that long road trip going to affect the Lions at all?
Well, I tell you, it's always a challenge when you take a charter flight and you fly as far as we'll be flying. And the thing that we're going to start talking about with our team as early as Sunday will be it's a business trip. It's not a vacation. It's not a pleasure trip. It's a business trip, and we're going there to win a football game. And we got to prepare our hearts and minds. We got to get a schedule. We got to stick to the schedule. Every man's got to bring his A game. Teams usually make the most progress between week 1 and week 2, and that's going to be our challenge this week. We got to really work hard to improve on the things that we saw we can improve on, build on the positive things we saw, and overcome the trip. We got to win the trip.
Well, that brings us to the scouting report, brought to you each week by the LHC Group with offices throughout the South. Coach, Northern Colorado University, tell us a little bit about them.
Well, they're a well-coached football team. Their head coach has been around a long time. He always runs a first-class program. They're well-coached, very disciplined. I think if you go back and remember last year, they came in to Hammond, and it was after the hurricane, and played in a monsoon, and they had the player that's playing in the NFL now, the wide receiver, and he's graduated, thank goodness, but they've replaced him with a receiver who put up big numbers last week against Western Illinois. They lost that game to Western Illinois, but it was a close ball game. They won their first game big over the Missouri or Colorado School of Mines, and Colorado School of Mines is a really good NAIA program. So they're 1-1. Look like they're a much improved football team. Got a huge offensive line. Defensively, they've replaced some of their. They lost 3 defensive starters up front, but they've replaced them with real aggressive players. They've got an experienced secondary, and they're. I don't think they've totally settled maybe at the quarterback position, but I think they're probably getting a little closer with 2 games under their belt. And that's the concern for us, is they will have played one more game than we have. They've had 10 days to prepare for us. We're going to have 7. And they got the home field advantage. But I think for us, the focus this week has got to be to improve from week 1 to week 2. And like I said earlier in the show, really good football teams make the most improvement, most progress between week 1 and week 2. And we got to win this road trip. We got to go out there and make it a business trip. And we got to focus on the Lions and not the Bears. We respect the Bears, and we got to take it to the field and put our best effort on the field, but I think it's all about us getting ready to play.
Well, that's the scouting report brought to us by the LHC Group with offices throughout the South. Next week's game will, of course, be Northern Colorado. We're looking forward to Tulane game. We still haven't got word on where that's going to be played. And also, October 8th is going to be homecoming. That's the next home game here at Strawberry Stadium. Get your tickets now. It's going to be against Texas State. Coach, you think the Lions are prepared?
Well, I think we will prepare. I think, like I said, I expect a good week of practice, and I expect people, tend to like to take these road trips, especially ones where you fly, and I think there'll be a little bounce in their step this week. And again, the focus is going to be take care of the little things and let's get better.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Dennis Roland Show. Next week, we're going to look at highlights from that Northern Colorado game and look forward to the Tulane game on October 1st. For Coach Dennis Roland, I'm Marv Verbois. Thank you.